Welcome everyone. I'm so excited you could join us for today's Theme Time activity. It is winter here in Florida, but that's not going to stop us from getting some flurries flying. We will be making DIY snow globes. My name is Lisa. I'm with the Tampa Hillsborough County Public Library, and we are going to get started. Our supply list here for you. Bear with me, it's being a little bit slow today, so I hope we'll get it going here. There we go. All right, so hopefully you can see that supply list up there. It is showing a blank screen for me, but I think we can switch it over here. There we go, that looks better. I couldn't find the recycled jars that I had wanted to use, but I have some other jars. They're not as pretty and clear, but some of the jars that I found work really well for this activity are recycled peanut butter jars. Those do a really good job because they're nice and wide and they don't have a lot of stuff on the design. So we've got the jars there. You're going to want some plastic figures. Now I have some fun flamingos and some palm trees here, but another fun snow globe that I saw recently use the Lego minifigs, so those can make a fantastic scene for your Florida beach scene. And you'll want some glitter. I have a big tub of it here, and you can use either the chunky kind or the fine kind. But I'll let you know, the chunkier glitter works a lot better in the snow globe. It flies a lot better, and it doesn't tend to gunk up and clump together. So if you have the chunky glitter, that's going to work great for you. But if you have the fine glitter, it'll work too. So, and last but not least, you're going to want some water. You'll need at least enough water to fill up the jar all the way. Always have a little bit extra in case you spill some, need to top it off. But thankfully, water is something we have plenty of here. And you also will want your hot glue to seal that jar with afterwards. Now, I'll say, we're going to want to make sure that we have an adult with us when we're using the hot glue gun so that they can handle that for us safely. They have high temperature and low temperature hot glue guns, but both of them will hurt if you get them on your fingers. So be careful using those. Make sure you have an adult that is helping you with that part of the activity. And we'll also have a little Q&A at the end where we'll go over a few things. So I'm going to turn my face off of the camera so that you can see more of the screen where we do this activity together. Okay, all right, so I'll show you what my little jar looks like. I had another little jar here. Now this one, you'll see, turned out pretty okay, but with the really fine glitter, it actually hides my figures inside, so they're harder to see. So that's why I was thinking that the big chunky ones work better for that. So we've got our jar and we've got our lid, right? So jar normally sits up like this with the lid on top like this. But with the snow globe, when it's done, it's going to sit up this way, where this is on the bottom and this is on the top. Now I picked a nice tall jar because my figures are pretty tall. So these would not fit into my little size jar because they're just too big. Now, if that happens to you, if it's a toy or a figure that you're able to take apart, you can always cut it off and make it shorter. But otherwise, recycle a bigger jar. So this is going to be my base. And what I'm going to do is arrange my plants on it, see what looks best. And you tell me as you go along, you tell me which version you like better. I've got my tropical foliage and I've got my friend flamingo. So what we'll do is once we figure out how we want that arranged on there, once we like that, then we're going to use the hot glue to kind of stick it down on there so that it stays in place for us. So what do you think? You think I should have both of the trees on there? Maybe just that? What do we think looks better? Might be easier to see if I hold it this way. What do you think? Just the tree and just the flamingo, or maybe the foliage too? If you already gathered your supplies for this activity, did you already pick out some trees for your activity, or are you going to do it later and work on it after the program? So I'm just going to put some hot glue on the bottom here. Remember, be really careful not to get this on your fingers. Don't want to do you an ouch. And then you're going to carefully put that down, just like that. Now, if you're using this style of lid with the ring, you can put it together separately. But before we put the jar all the way together, we're going to add some hot glue to the edge here, make it seal down nice and tight on the jar so that it doesn't leak on us. All right, so I've got my palm trees in place. I don't know, I think this might be too much having all the foliage in there. Maybe I'll just have a little bit. Maybe I'll just pull a piece off. I'll have that on the bottom there. What do you think? It looks like that. Mush that together. You'll just want to make sure to stay inside that edge of the jar so that the jar can still close. So I'm just going to hold that in place there until it cools. There we go. And hopefully I left enough room for my Mingo. Mingo flamingo. There we go. I think that'll look great. So I'll put a little bit of that hot glue on here. Get that into position. And before that hot glue hardens and dries, you can still smush it just a little bit. But once that cools down, you're locked into place. So there we go. That's my scene there. So once we have our scene figured out, we can start getting the jar ready to put on there. So if you saw on the supply list, I kind of had a suggested ratio for you, or you would want to use about a teaspoon of the glitter to 8 ounces of water or liquid. So that can be more or less. You can kind of do that however you like, however you're going to think is going to look best. Get my glitter opened up here. So for me, I've got a pretty big jar. So I said 1 teaspoon to 8 ounces, and this holds 24 ounces. So how many of our teaspoons do we need for this? So we need 1 teaspoon for the 8 ounces. And then we need 2 teaspoons for this many 16 ounces. And then we need 1 more teaspoon for that for 24 ounces. So we've got 1, 2, 3 teaspoons for the 24 ounces. But we're going to fit a little bit more in here because we're going to have the water going all the way up to the top. So we'll call that about 3.5 or 4. This is not going to be an exact ratio. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it. So I've got about a teaspoon there. About another teaspoon there. And a 3rd teaspoon there. And just for fun, we're going to top that off just a little bit. So we'll have that ready to go in. Now, I like to, before I put everything together and add my glitter, I like to see exactly how much water is going to be displaced. Because if I fill it all the way up to the very, very tippy top, then if I put this in, it's going to displace some water. So what do we mean by that? So if it's all the way full of water, we're displacing the water. We're moving it out of the way. We're taking up the room that the water would have taken up. And that's going to overflow if we put it in like that. So what I do is I fill it up to just under that edge there where the lip is, because I don't think I have more stuff than would fit into there. So I'll get my water out and I'll start filling that up. Glug, 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 glug. There we go, right at about the 24 ounces there. I'm gonna fill up just a little bit more. And then we will see how much room our tree and pingy and flamingo take up. So when I do that, it does not displace much water at all. So I can't tilt it all the way back without it leaking, but it went up to like right about there. So just above the edge. So I'm going to carefully hold this to the side here. I'm going to pour in some more water. We're going to see how close that gets. Oh, we've still got plenty of room. Add in a little bit more. We'll see how that does. Oh, that's getting really close. I think that just about does it. Maybe just a touch more. All right. Now, our glitter will also displace some water, but really not very much at all. So remember, how much did we put in here? We put in 1, 2, 3, 4-ish teaspoons of glitter. So I left just about enough room at the top. I left about 4 teaspoons worth of water out. Now that's not going to be exact for us, but it'll get us pretty close. Ooh, that's already looking good. All right, once you've got your glitter in there, you're going to very carefully have your grown-up help you add in that glue around the edge. Let's get some more, another glue stick in there. There we go. We want to seal that up nice so that we don't accidentally leak it all over the house. Nothing worse than accidentally glitter bombing yourself. There we go. So if you see there, I've just gone all the way around the inside of that edge there. And I'm just going to smush that down on top. Make sure that I didn't leave any gaps there. And make that nice and closed there. Smush it all the way down. And then if you like, you can do more hot glue right around that edge there, just to seal it a little bit more. All right. Now, we're going to want to let that sit for a minute, make sure that hot glue has enough time to get nice and finished curing. If you wanted to add any ribbon or anything around it, now's a good time to do that while that hot glue is still sitting, because that way, that'll help it hold in place. So you don't have to put on a ribbon or anything. I just happened to look across my work table here and I saw that I had some of this gold stuff laying around. I thought that might be fun for our little snow globe treasure here. Maybe it's a Gasparilla snow globe. Should have gotten a pirate ship, huh? All right, so that hot glue has had a chance to sit. Our flamingo and our trees are in place. You see I spilled some water there, so I've always got a little bit of paper towel ready to help clean up after me. All right. We can shake that up. And you'll probably see it better if I put the paper towel behind it. We have our snow globe. We've got the glitter flying in there. There we go, all set. So let me pull up my camera again here. And get that switched over. So what do you think? Have you been following along? Did you work along with me on your project? Did you already get your figures picked out ahead of time? I'd love to see them. So if you finish this project, you can send us a picture. I'll show you where to send that later. Let me pull up my instructions here again. There we go. So if you want to follow along with this at home, and maybe you're not going to have time to watch the video, but you want the printed instructions, you are in luck this month. We have activities to go that we have every month available, either as a digital or a physical packet. If you go to our website, hcplc.org/activities to go, for the December packet, it's an all digital packet. You can download that, has a ton of fun activities in there. But I also put my instructions for the snow globe in that month's packet. So if you download that, you'll have our snow globe activity there, the paper instructions that you can follow along with. And yeah, I hope you have fun with that. Some of the other activities in there, we always love putting those together for you. And I am going to get this pulled up here. I'm actually going to show you how to get to there on our website. Let me pull up our website here. You've got all of our activities on there, but you can also go to kids-specific programs, and that has links to our activities to go. And you'll see this month's packet here where you can download that. And you can also see all of our past month's activities. So we don't always have our STEAM time activity in there. Sometimes it doesn't overlap with when those get published. But yeah, you can definitely get this month's, get the December STEAM time activity in there and have fun with that. While we're in here, I wanted to show you some other fun stuff. If you're looking for more of these kinds of hands-on activities, some of these science and crafting type activities, we're going to go over to check out some of our kids stuff. So we've always got our homework help resources for kids. That's for all grades, big kids, little kids, everything in between. But we also have things like Science Online. So you just log in with your library card number or your hall pass, and it's going to pull up these e-learning modules. So if you're looking to find out some of the science of snow, for example, you just type in snow and it's going to pull up everything that they have on there. But what if you just want maybe a book chapter that has it? That's going to narrow that down for you. So this is a really fun way to look for some other activities. There are also science fair guides if you want to maybe pull up some activities that you can use for a science fair project for a group or an individual. That's in there. So student tools in there. Maybe if you're homeschooling or if you're a teacher, there are also tools for educators on there. I like to go in here and go to the browse function and go over to experiments, specifically experiments, because that's going to give you the hands-on activities. And you see right now they've got 1,612 different activities that can be done at home. So all kinds of options on there. I wanted to take some time to show you that to go along with our DIY snow globe activity, so you can kind of see where I get some of those inspirations from for our activities. We also have the World Book Kids that has a ton of resources on activities that you can do at home, arts and crafts and sciences, So tons of fun stuff. If you have any trouble finding those later on after the program, you can always reach us at, pull that up here. hcplc.org/contact. On that page, you'll have all of our contact information, including a link to our Ask a Librarian function. So if you're ever having trouble finding some of these activities and kid resources that we talk about, you go in there, go to the Ask a Librarian, say, hey, I watched this program and they mentioned that I could find some DIY activities and experiments, but I can't remember where to find it. Just go to that Ask a Librarian. That is one of us. Hillsborough County librarians are going to be answering that for you, and they would be happy to send you right to the right resource on that. So definitely check that out. I love those guys. They do a really good job of, they know a little bit of everything that we have going on. So even I use them sometimes to find out stuff that I can't find. We had someone asking if they could make their own figures for it. So yes, I'm guessing you're talking about maybe making something out of clay or air dry clay, something like that. So yes and no. You can make your own figures to put inside of your snow globe, but it's really going to need to be something that's waterproof. So if you make a decoration on your own, the air dry clay, the clay might not be the best thing unless it's sealed really, really well. And even then, yeah, it'll probably get gooey on you and not last very long. So I'd recommend sticking with something that you maybe craft out of plastic, maybe some recycled paper clips and plastic that you can make things out of. That might be an option for you. If you're doing one of the makerspace programs at the library, we have some 3D printers. So maybe you made an ornament or a decoration on one of our 3D printers. And yeah, you could absolutely use that. Those are going to be plastic. They're going to be nice and waterproof for you. So yes, those would be a good option. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to use stuff that is waterproof so that it won't dissolve in the in your snow globe. All right. One more question. Okay, yep, we have a question about do they have to use water for it? So water is definitely the easiest thing to use. We've pretty much got easy access to water, and it's not going to be super messy for us if we spill it. But you might notice that professional snow globes that you buy in the store, the glitter maybe falls a little bit differently than it does in your water. And that's because inside of those snow globes, they tend to use glycerin. So while you can, in theory, get glycerin to use at home for crafting, it's not something that you can just, run to the store and pick up. But what you can use instead that's a clear liquid that is a little bit thicker than water would be baby oil. So if you have a big jug of baby oil that you're not using anymore, try using that. It works great. Actually, that's what I used in my smaller snow globe. That has the baby oil in there, and because it's thicker, it holds those glitter particles up in the air a little bit longer, so it takes longer for them to settle at the bottom. Yes, baby oil is an option if you're not wanting to use water, if you're wanting it to look a little bit thicker. But definitely it should be something clear. It should be something that's safe to use with your hands, to get on your hands in case it leaks. So be safe about that. So if you don't want to use water, try the baby oil. That's a good option, and it's pretty easy to get to, and it's not super expensive. All right, I don't see any more questions coming in. Thank you so much for joining me, friends. I had fun making our little winter themed craft here and learning a little bit about ratios and ooh, here's another one that we learned. We suspended particles. We have a suspension here, not a solution, because we did not dissolve things like our clay decoration pieces. So I'm so glad that you could join us. It was fun, and we will see you again soon for another STEAM Time program. Keep an eye out on our schedule, hcplc.org/events, and we will see you soon, friends. Bye. Have a wonderful winter.